Hi everyone, welcome back to the Rugby League History channel. Today I'll be doing my tips for round 4 of the 2024 NRL season. In round 3 I got 4 out of 8, not the best round. I could have potentially got 5 out of 8 if I would have tipped my own team, but I didn't really believe that they could win. But anyway, let's get on with the round 4 tips and see how we go this week. And the first match to kick off round 4 happens on Thursday night. It's between Sydney Roosters and Penrith. This one's being played at the new SFS. Penrith have a really good record against East in recent times. They've won their last 8 matches against them in the NRL. The last time that East defeated Penrith were in round 24 of the 2019 NRL season at the City Cricket Ground. They won 22 points to 6. For the Sydney Roosters, they've got a few injury concerns. There's going to be no Collins, from what I've read, no Sam Walker, and still no Luke Keary. So they're down on a few players. As for Penrith, they're still going to be without James Fisher-Harris. This is going to be a quality game. It's potentially the game of the round. And I can guarantee you that Matt Thompson, the commentator, will at least mention once in this match that Penrith and Sydney Roosters are rivals, and it's a big rivalry. And I did a video on that last year, a bit of a shameless plug, but yeah, I did a video on that. There's a link in the description below. But with this match, with the injuries that East have and how Penrith have been playing, it's going to be a tight game, but I will go for Penrith to win by 1 to 12 points on the Thursday. And the first match on Good Friday, it's South Sydney against Canterbury Bankstown. This one's being played at Stadium Australia. Now, it's been highly publicised and there's been lots and lots of talk about it. South Sydney 0-3 to start the year. Worst start to a season by them since 2008. And going into this fixture though, against Canterbury, they've won 7 of their last 10 matches against them in the NRL. Overall, these two sides have played 168 times. Souths have won 80 times, Canterbury's won 84 times, and there's been 4 draws. There's been 10 Good Friday games in total. South Sydney have won 7 of those and Canterbury's won just the 3. The last time that Canterbury defeated Souths on Good Friday were back in 2017. Both of these teams coming into the match polar opposites basically. Canterbury defeated the Gold Coast 32-0. South Sydney got belted by their arch rivals Eastern Suburbs, and there's been a lot of talk, a lot of fallout from that. Jason Demetriou, the head coach of South Sydney, is under immense pressure. The players are under immense pressure. They're really looking down the barrel of going 0-4 to start the year, and I don't think anyone predicted that. But as we've seen in many years gone by, when a team gets belted one week, they generally come out the next week and they play a lot better. We've already seen that this year with Redcliffe, how they were humiliated by North Queensland, come out the next week and gave St George a bit of a touch up. And with the Canterbury game, I watched the highlights, and even though Canterbury did play well, the Gold Coast were shocking. Some of that defence was quite questionable, so this is a really hard game to call which way it's going to go. So for this game, I'm going to tip South Sydney to win. I know I might sound a bit crazy to some people. I think a lot of people will be tipping Canterbury this week, but I have a feeling that South Sydney will get their first win of the year. I mean, Summit's got to give. They do have a good squad on paper. They're just in a really bad spot at the moment, but I can see them beating Canterbury there on the Good Friday match. So I go South Sydney to win by 1 to 12 points. And the second game on Good Friday, it's the Queensland Derby. It's Brisbane against North Queensland. This one's being played at Suncorp Stadium. There's been 60 matches played between these two sides. Brisbane's won 38, North Queensland's won 20, and there's been 2 draws. In the last 10 times these two sides played against each other, it's 5 apiece. Brisbane also won both derbies last year, so they did the double over North Queensland. But going into this game, they're going to be right up against it. North Queensland's won 3 matches to start the year, and for Brisbane, there's going to be no Reece Walsh, no Adam Reynolds, no Payne Ass as well. So three of the big players in the Brisbane squad are not going to be there. And North Queensland have been playing very well to start the year. They belted Redcliffe, then round 2 had a narrow victory over Newcastle, then round 3 eased the victory in the end over St George. So they've got no real injury concerns besides Hylam Lukey being out. So for this game, I mean, it would have been great if both teams were at full strength, but with the way that North Queensland's going and with some of the key outs of Brisbane, I'm going to have to go for North Queensland to win by 1 to 12 points on Friday. It's going to be a close game, I feel, but I think that's North Queensland will win on the Friday. And the first match on Super Saturday is between St George and Manly-Warringah. This one's being played at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong. St George have been a bit of a bogey side for Manly in recent times. They've won 7 of the last 10 matches that they've played against them, and Manly's only ever beaten St George twice in Wollongong since 2003. With Manly, they've got 1 or 2 injury concerns, but with the St George side, Jaden Sewer is going to miss this game, it looks like. Hammy Selly's going to be out, and Jacob Liddle potentially is going to be out as well with the HIA. Now last week St George played the way that I thought they would against North Queensland. They came out firing, they were good in the opening stages, and then they fell away badly in the end, and that's how I thought it was going to go. As for Manly, had a very narrow loss against Parramatta. A lot of people are accusing the referee of match fixing and all kinds of stuff, but they only lost by 4 points. Could have gone either way that game, but they're going to be going into this match wanting to win it. And that's why I'm going to tip Manly to win by 13 plus. I think that they've got a lot of attacking options. I think they can score a lot of points when they're on their game, and if they are on their game, I think St George won't be able to handle it. So I'm going to go Manly to win 13 plus. And the second match on Super Saturday is between the Gold Coast and Redcliffe. This one's being played at the Suburbs Super Stadium on the Gold Coast. These two sides met last year and Redcliffe won both of those matches. And there's a bit of spice going into these games between these two clubs, because when the Gold Coast were first admitted into the NRL for a 5th time, they wanted to be known as the Gold Coast Dolphins, and Redcliffe turned around and said, if you're going to be trying to do that, we're going to sue the pants off you. So that's how Gold Coast ended up becoming the Gold Coast Titans. To start the year, injuries haven't been kind to the Gold Coast, and they were dealt a further blow when one of their star players, Tino, was ruled out for the entire season after doing his knee against Canterbury. David Fifita's still out, and Jaden Campbell, he might be back for this game, but there's a bit of a question mark over that. As for Redcliffe, they've got a couple of players out. Anthony Milford's still out, and Nicarima's still out for them. With the Gold Coast, they were battered 32-0 against Canterbury there at Belmore Sports Ground. And like I said earlier in the video, generally when teams get battered one week, they come out the next week a lot better and usually win. So Redcliffe will have to be careful of that, but I'm pretty sure Wayne Bennett will have them prepared for this game. For the Gold Coast, it just seems like another false dawn. They've had so many since the first incarnation of the Gold Coast side in 1988, and there was so much promise coming in this year, and already it's not looking good for them. So for this match, I will go for Redcliffe to win. Like I said, though, with the Gold Coast, they could come out firing. It's a really tight game to call, hard one to call, but I will go for Redcliffe to win by 1 to 12 points, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Gold Coast win. And the first match on Sunday is between New Zealand and Newcastle. This one's being played at Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland. There's been 49 matches played between these two sides, 24 wins apiece and 1 draw. Of course, these two sides played against each other last year in the finals, where New Zealand battered Newcastle in the second week. When it comes to Newcastle travelling over to Auckland to play there at Mount Smart Stadium, they've played 25 matches there. They've won 9 times and they've lost 14 times. However, they've only won twice since the year 2005. With Newcastle, they're going to be without Greg Marzu, aka Greg Lalesio, as he used to be known as. And as for New Zealand, they're still without Charles Nicoll-Klokstad. Dylan Walker looks like he's not going to play, and so for Marata Niukore. For this match, I'm going to have to go for New Zealand to win by 112 points. Even though New Zealand lost the opening 2 matches, they were competitive, they did play well, they beat Canberra. As for Newcastle, even without Hughes and Munster, and with a lot of people tipping Newcastle, they still only won by 2 points in the end. They barely scraped home against the Melbourne side without a lot of players, so I'm going to go for New Zealand to win by 112 points. And the other game on the Sunday is between Cronulla-Sutherland and Canberra. This one's being played at Shark Park. Canberra have a really good record over Cronulla in recent times. They've won 9 of their last 10 matches against them, and that was only broken last year when Cronulla recorded a victory against Canberra at Shark Park. With Cronulla, they've got some injury concerns. Dale Finucane looks like he's not going to be playing. Toby Rudolph, Royce Hunt and Braden Hamlin-Uele also look like they might not be playing. As for Canberra, they're going to be without Sebastian Kris still, and Corey Horsburgh still on the injured list, but he might be playing in this round 4 fixture. Now with Cronulla, they started the year really good. They won the opening 2 matches, and then against West Tigers they were humbled there at Leichhardt Oval. And with Canberra, they were good in the first 2 rounds, unlucky against New Zealand over there in Christchurch. For this game, I'm going to go for Canberra to win. I think that's across the 3 rounds so far, Canberra have been the more consistent side out of the 2. So I will go for Canberra to win by 112 points on Sunday. And the final game to close out round 4 is on Monday, and it's between Parramatta and the West Tigers. This match is being played at the Western Sydney Stadium. In recent times, Parramatta have a great record against West Tigers. They've beaten them 9 out of the 10 times that they've met recently. Overall, Parramatta have a better head-to-head. There's been 46 matches played. Parramatta's won 29 games. West Tigers have won 16 and there's been 1 draw. And in the Easter Monday matches, there's been 9 matches played since 2014. Parramatta's won 5 of those, West Tigers have won 4. And yours truly has been at 2 of these games. I was at the original, very first Easter Monday match in 2014, and then I was also at the game in 2017. West Tigers recorded their first victory of the season last week, and they won quite convincingly. I watched the highlights of the game, and I'm not too sure if it's a case of whether West Tigers were very good or Cronulla were very bad. From what I could see, Cronulla were pretty ordinary in that game. As for Parramatta, I didn't expect them to beat Manly. They did win by 4 points. However, some of the issues that always seem to plague, especially when it comes to the defence, there was a few times that Manly got around the edges quite easily for Parramatta, and in the end they did win the game. There were accusations that there was match fixing going on and all that caper, but that always seems to be the case. Whenever Parramatta win a game, it's down to match fixing, or they paid the ref money, and if they lose, they didn't pay the ref enough money. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So ahead of this match, it looks like Micah Sivo will return. He's served his suspension. Bailey Simonson also might be back for this game. As for West Tigers, they've got 1 or 2 players out, but overall, I think, especially with Parramatta, it might be a bit of a selection headache for Brad Arthur, because he does have a couple of players coming back, and is he going to keep Blaise Tulungi in the side, or is he going to keep Morgan Harper in there, or is he going to leave Micah Sivo and Simonson in reserve grade? We'll just have to wait and see. But for this match, I will tip Parramatta to win by 112 points. I think that if Parramatta show up and they're ready to play and they've got their minds switched on, then I think that they'll have too much of the West Tigers. If Parramatta show up to this game and think, oh well, it's West Tigers, this is going to be an easy one, they're going to be in for a rude shock, and West Tigers will beat them if they don't show up. So I will go for Parramatta to win 1-12, as long as they apply themselves and are mentally ready and physically ready, then they should be too good for West. So there are my tips for round 4 of the 2024 NRL season. I hope you enjoyed these tips. If you did, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know who you're tipping ahead of round 4. And once again, thanks to everyone for watching me tipping videos. Last week, my video was one of the most watched tipping videos on YouTube, so it's greatly appreciated. Thanks very much to everyone that tuned in, commented and liked the video. So anyways, this has been Rugby League History, and I'll catch you all later in the next video. Alright, tatty bye for now.